Why is it that our own president or our own politicians do not attend the same hospital they expect us to attend to? What is the reason?
Well, I think the better question here is that why do African leaders prefer to die abroad? Now, let's go back to the medical attention. African leaders, as a Nigerian, let me talk about Nigeria. Our politicians, they have all the power, all the resources available to build the best hospitals in the whole world in Nigeria. They have everything it takes to build it in Nigeria. But somehow, maybe they belong to one secret court that prohibits them from building that hospital here. That every time they are sick, they request or they desire they rather go to abroad, like UK or US, to go and seek for medical attention. And most time they get to run into trouble there. You understand? And it's not just about Nigeria. If you go to Cameroon, I think the Cameroonian president, Paul Biya, does not even live in Cameroon. He lives in France. You understand? So let me go back to Nigeria. Currently, as I'm talking to you now, our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is currently not in the country. According to him, he went for his annual leave. Before now, 2 weeks ago, he came back from China. He went from China to the UK, where he said he went to have meetings and back here. So the time they spend abroad is more than the time they even spend at home here. Now, I think it was last year, a few years ago, one of our senators, his daughter was sick, needed a kidney transplant, and they flew her to UK, normally where they get their medical attention. And somehow, I might not give the total gist here, they were able to carry a donor from here to that place, which got them into trouble. He was involved in organ harvest. A sitting senator for that matter.
What kind of donor? Blood donor or what?
The guy is a Nigerian from his village or something. So they were able to get an innocent young man, which they did not give a total details of what he was going to do in the UK. According to the news, the guy was promised education, average struggling young Nigerian. If you promise them abroad, they are ready to follow you get. So I guess that's what they promised the guy, and they took the guy abroad. And upon reaching there, that the white man doesn't do the way we do things. They have to brief the guy. Upon doing that, they realized that the guy was not even aware that he was going to donate his organ. You understand? That is the daughter to the senator, who needed the kidney. So upon that, the guy discovered that they wanted to take his kidney, and which got the authorities involved, and Ekweremadu was arrested. And, they went to court, and he was convicted, and is currently serving prison term in the UK. This is a national disgrace to Nigeria, that a sitting senator in Nigeria is currently in jail because of medical attention of his daughter. This is the hospital they can build in Nigeria. I don't know how expensive that hospital can be that 80 billion naira cannot build. Do you know what is 80 billion naira? A current ex-governor in Nigeria is currently being investigated for stealing 80 billion naira. That money can build any kind of standard hospital. The same governor again, a fresh allegation has been leveled against him again of 101 billion naira. I don't think there's any hospital you want to build in Nigeria that can cost you more than 2 billion naira. So it's not that the money is not there. The money is there. But our politicians have decided they would rather die abroad than die at home. So every now and then, they will rush abroad for medical attention. If they need holiday, they go abroad. They need hospital, they go abroad. There was even a time in Nigeria that a president's daughter used the presidential jet to order pizza. Now, this whole thing is not that they cannot do it here. They can. Building a hospital here is not a problem. Building the best education here, because None of our politician children school in Nigeria. None. All their children school abroad. So the question now is that...
Meaning they don't even believe in our own education system, that they do politics with it, that they have built schools, universities and all that. They don't believe in them.
They don't. If they believe in it, their children will be in it. They don't. So let me tell you, whatever a politician tell you during campaign is a lie.
That's true. I mean, when you come to Ghana as at now, you'll be experiencing some of these lies, because in the next 2 months we are going for our election, and one of the most appalling thing that Ghanaians, you were talking about 80 billion naira. How much would you give, or how much would you rate this pit behind our president? This cost us $58 million. This is just a hole, a hole, yes. And this is the most expensive hole, I would say, in the world. Our president, in his own sense, said that he promised God that he was going to build a church for God. When there are people still schooling under trees, there are people still lying on the floor, even our dead bodies are not resting in peace. And very soon I'll send you a video to that effect, that when you go to the biggest hospital, one of the biggest hospitals here in Ghana called Kolobu, dead bodies are not even kept properly. And the mortuary attendants are going on demonstrations. And yet still, these people would gather up and go to America for treatment. Funny enough, the president went to USA to speak at the UN conference or something like that. Meanwhile, protesters in Ghana were protesting against galamsey, which is illegal mining, which is destroying our water bodies. Meanwhile, the president was somewhere in US addressing the UN. Meanwhile, his home was burning. The young people that did this demonstration are still in police remand. They have not been released. And our water bodies are being destroyed. And so sometimes when we meet like this, it is like a competition of bad things. I will sit here and tell you horrible things, and then you get scared. Hey, so Ghana can do this. Then you also come up with certain things that Nigerian leaders are doing. Meanwhile, there are youthful people who are hardworking with brains, who want to turn the fortunes of this country. But the leadership is the problem.
You know, you were talking about protesters being in police custody. You know, in August 1st, Nigerians came out to protest they came out to protest, and they tagged it protest against bad governance. During that protest lasted for 10 days. And do you know that at least 10 people were arrested, and the Nigerian government charged them with the highest offense anybody can ever commit in the country, which is treason. The Nigerian government charged them to treason. Do you know the penalty for treason? Penalty for treason is killing.
Yeah, I'm very much aware of that.
So the Nigerian government charged protesters for treason, whereby in this same country, Boko Haram members will be captured and granted amnesty. They will wear them new clothes, give them food, send them abroad to go and then bring them back to the society. But somebody will protest and demand for good governance. Somebody will protest and demand for good governance. You will tag them treason. Recently, today as I'm talking to you, one of Nigerian whistleblower is called Bidon Nigeria. He's the one that used to reveal most of their secrets on Twitter. The guy was tracked down and arrested. In fact, we can call it kidnap, because when he was arrested, nobody knew. It was when people started asking about him, they now realized that the police secretly arrested him. It was today that he was granted bail. He came out today.
Wow.
So those things keep going on. As I'm talking to you today now, the ASU, the Educational Board in Nigeria, which is the in charge of the Nigerian University, ASU, they are planning on going on strike. Do you know why they want to go on strike? average Nigerian lecturer, a lecturer that attended a PhD, that teach the people that come out, the people that matters in the country, they teach our university students, their basic salary is less than 600,000 naira. Whereby an illiterate in National Assembly is receiving like 25 million naira. Is receiving wardrobe allowance. Now, the funny part now is that, the funny part where this thing get dicey is that this same illiterate that is in National Assembly receiving a huge amount of money. During election, he will use that professor to rig election.
Wow.
The professor will go and help them rig election, allegedly. And you will wonder, where is our problem really coming from? So those are the corruption in Africa is general. You know, you just narrated your own now. It's the same thing happening here. In Nigeria, a politician can donate recently, a politician donated 1 billion naira to build church. And the school in his community is not functioning again. The healthcare in his community is not working.
This is terrible. But before you go on, let me share this interesting thing with you. I don't know if you know this man or you've seen his picture. He's the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. His name is His Excellency Dr. Bawumia. And then he is the Vice President to our President. And so when we are talking about everything that is going on in Ghana now, we can partially put some of the blame on him. When they came, they implemented a policy called tax on betting. You understand? And they introduced something they call e-levy. And then this same vice president is campaigning that when we vote for him, he would make sure that he stops tax on betting and e-levy. Meanwhile, he's the same person that introduced this policy for the citizens to suffer. And now you are telling them that when they vote for you, you take it off. Now, people ask them this question. Why don't you take it off now? If truly, you intend taking it off now. And his answer was, if he takes it off now, when he becomes the president, what will he do?
Well,
just imagine.
African leaders are so clueless, and they treat the people as if they don't know what they're doing. You know, in Nigeria, just a few months ago, the Nigerian government approved 90 billion naira for pregnant, all those people who travel for Hajj. They call it Hajj, those things that Islamic people do. I don't really know Islamic people do. They budgeted 90 billion naira for it to subsidize it for them. Do you know how much this Nigerian government budget for student loan in Nigeria? 5 billion naira.
So why are we doing this to ourselves?
So they use 90 billion to sponsor religious program, and then use 5 billion to sponsor education for the whole country. Like, is a student loan.
Why are we doing this to ourselves? Because sometimes you sit down and you ask yourself that these African leaders, when they travel to Europe and America, don't they see these beautiful things? Look at a country like Malaysia. Look at a country like UAE, Dubai. You see, now, if Ghana is not careful, some years coming, we would import water, drinking water. Now, this is River Pra, one of the, very great rivers in Ghana that is supporting good drinking water and all that. Now, the color has changed from blue or this color to the brown color because of illegal mining by Chinese people. And ask yourself, who is behind these Chinese people? They are the same political leaders. The gold that was planted in our land for it to become beneficial to us. And I'm sure you understand the Ghanaian flag. The red means the blood that our forefathers fought for us. The yellow in the Ghana flag means gold. And the green means our rich forest. And this green, now all the trees are being cut for legal mining. All the gold are being, and the painful thing is that Ghana was known as Gold Coast. So that should tell you the amount of gold we have in our land. And when they get all this gold, they push it out. Ghana as a country itself can't boast of gold. There are people living in Ghana who have never seen gold before. But you go to UK, they don't have any mining sites there, but they have gold than Ghana.
One of my programs, some Nigerians they came there and said that the Westerners are our problem. The Westerners are our problem. I keep telling them that the Westerners are not your problem. Your problem are your leaders, your African leaders who have sold your country to them. The white man cannot come to your country and take anything without anybody giving them access.
No. They have insiders.
It is our African politicians who has given them access to whatever they are taking. The same illegal mining is happening in Nigeria. It's happening in Nigeria. Our oil is no longer owned by us. Most of the crude oil today in Nigeria has been sold in advance. I'm sure you heard the issue between Dangote and NMPC. You can't believe that the first week of Dangote starting operation, that Dangote had to import oil from other country. When we in Nigeria, one of the largest oil producing country in Africa, and our own refinery country in Dangote has to import from other crude oil from other country for the first week because of the irresponsibility of our leaders. And the most painful part of this as a Nigerian, I must say this for whoever is watching as a Nigerian, is that Nigerians have the capacity to turn its political system around. But tribalism will never let our people stand. It
is the same thing here in Ghana. Tribe. Yes, I was born into this family and this is the political party that we support, and they are taking advantage of us and we are sitting down. It is sad. Sometimes I ask myself that all these natural resources that were given to us, I think God has to take it back. Because I can tell you on authority that if Nigeria's oil should be left for Nigeria alone, Nigeria can serve the entire Africa with oil. If Ghana's gold was to be left for Ghana alone, Ghana can serve the entire Africa with gold. Now, we have cocoa here in Ghana, but then we cannot process our own cocoa and make our own chocolates here in Ghana. We would have to export them to the white man's country for the white man to make it chocolates and bring it back to us and sell it to us. Where is the brains? I don't know if it's going to be like this forever. But you see, sometimes we go like the youths are going to be the next hope, but sometimes you meet some of the youth following these politicians, and excuse me to say, they are stupid as the leaders themselves.
Exactly.
Because of mere money that they have given to them, they will sell out their own country for a peanut. Because of his stomach, they want to eat, and they don't care.
Exactly. The thing you just said about the cocoa, is the same thing happening in Nigeria. Nigeria, we have like at least 3 refineries in Nigeria. We have one in Port Harcourt, we have one in Rivers, and we have one in Kaduna. Those 3 refineries are world standard refineries. They are being maintained every year. People are working there, but they are not producing anything. Those refineries are not producing, they are not working. They are not active. We still carry our crude oil to other countries. They refine it and sell it back to us. We are the owners of the crude oil. We export our crude oil. they refine it, then we'll buy it back. They will not sell our oil to us. Now in Nigeria, our NNPC has promised Nigerians countless times, like 7 times, that Port Harcourt refinery will start work. In fact, they've even gone as far as doing a commissioning, that the refinery will start work. It will start work. It never starts work till now. As of last month, they said it will start work in September. We are in October right now. The refinery is not working. Dangote refinery just started work. You need to see the battles that went down before that refinery could start work. There was a lot of frustration, a lot of things to make sure that Dangote refinery doesn't start work. Because some individuals are benefiting from Nigerians' pain. Some individuals are benefiting from our misfortune. Some individuals are benefiting from our tears. Some individuals who are heartless from the pit of hell are benefiting from our struggle. And they've amassed so much wealth that if you talk, they will use the money against you. They amass so much wealth that they can buy the electoral system. They amass so much wealth that they can buy the whole judiciary system. They amass so much wealth that your vote doesn't matter again. They have amassed so much wealth that the security system is now on their palm. That is the problem we are facing as a country in Nigeria. And guess what? This is not just about Nigerians. If you call the Kenyans now, they are passing through the same thing. You can see that Kenyans have been protesting. You go to Cameroon now, Cameroon has had one president for the past 40 years.
And I heard that he's making plans to let his son succeed.
Cameroon is having an election next year, 2025. And with the whole plan he has put in place, Paul Biya is currently 81 years old. And they are ruling, their election is done every 7 years. So Paul Biya will still win the next election. By the time he's done the next 7 years, Paul Biya will be 100 years old. And that is somebody who can hardly walk by himself because he currently have a partial stroke. And when he's done, his son will take over. Currently in Uganda, the president of Uganda, Museveni or something like that, I think Museveni, his son, he made his son the head of the military.
Yeah, I heard. So if you make
he has ruled, Museveni has ruled the Uganda now for more than 38 years, up to 38 years. And the next election, his son is going to be the president. And the number goes on. The number goes on. This is not just about Nigeria or Ghana. It's about the whole Africa. Look at what South Africans are going through. South Africans, see, look at what they're going through. In your own country, there's a part of the country you cannot go to because you are black. They tell you because you are black, you cannot come to this part of the country. Now, the question is, when will African youth wake up and realize that the earlier we take over our continent from these vipers, from these brainwashed thieves who call themselves politicians? You know what I call them? I call them African looters. They are not African leaders. They are African looters.
Let me tell you something which is so sad about the youth. You see, if all the youths could think like the way we are thinking, we would have been heading towards a great direction. But now the politicians have been able to weaponize poverty, and then they make sure that the masses are poor, and so they are always at their mercy. So the few youths that get closer to these politicians, their sense of reasoning to stand up to protect their country is no more. So the few ones that stand up for their country, they capture them, they jail them, they molest them, they do a whole lot of horrible things to them. You will see some people missing for no reason because he spoke out that certain things going on are not right. And so it is not just the youth, but the youth with the right mind thinking. Because there are people that they are easily convinced by a politician giving him a t-shirt and a bag of rice, they will vote for him. Where is the brain? Chicken brain. You understand? And so we have a long way to go. And it's not just the youth. You agree with me that when you are going on protesting, I heard that there is another section of people protesting against the protesters not to protest.
It's happened in August in Nigeria here, where Nigerians were planning to protest against the bad governance, and the politicians went to hire some other set of people, pay them to come and protest against the protesters. Do you not know the funny part? The funny part is that the government later did not pay them the money they promised them. So they now later turned to protest against the government that did not pay them the money to protest. So it's a very funny one. It's a funny one. But I believe the light is, we can see the light. We are closer because the people are waking up gradually.
I don't know if you heard of this Ghanaian minister that was caught with $1 million stolen from her bedroom. She was a sanitation minister. Now, the current news here in Ghana is that the people that clean the streets, they are in charge of sanitation. It's called Zoom Lion. They haven't been paid. And their salary is 250 Ghana cedis a month. And 250 Ghana cedis a month to be like, it shouldn't be even up to $10 or thereabouts.
Imagine.
Just $15 or $10 about a month. Human being, they work, they use hands, they carry rubbish. They pay them like $15 a month, and you haven't paid that for 8 good months. How do you expect her or him to eat? But the sanitation minister has excess money of 1 million in her bedroom that her house help stole that money. My brother, let's end it here. Tomorrow to come back and we'll discuss them. What are your final words?
Well, my final words is to African youths. You know, we do not have another country except the country you are in. We do not have another continent except this one. The place you're running to, which is the Europe or the America or the Asian country, wherever you're running to, is not your home. Whatever they made them is from Africa. So let's come together and build Africa. We can do it. Our fathers complain about it. We cannot complain because our children will also do the same thing. So a generation needs to end what is happening in Africa. Let's be the ones. We need to be fearless. We need to be fearless. And that is the only way we can take over our continent, Africa, especially Nigeria. Thank you, my brother.